I got it. Nuts. Come on, baby. Kingdom come. That's right. Jack off. What?
Okay.
My shades out of the car.
You're gonna need them.
Even their regular ones,
235, 30,
Yeah.
Well, I was kind of mad because we played the 200 the day before, and there was only 33 entries. Like I was really Friday.
Yeah, go to the Saturday ones are always good.
Well, okay. Well, that was the 500 day.
Is that always 500?
No,
The last
just once a month. The other ones
It's kinda
are
like the
230 or 235. But it's 25
They're all
days.
like that.
25 days, 30 minutes long.
Where is that?
Right downtown.
What?
Like,
Yeah, I was mad. We started out. It was like 4 tables. It started out 4 tables.
You take me out today, that's it.
And then people were late registering for the show. It was only
You and your sub.
I had this most roller guy at my table too. He ended up. I got it all in with him. I had to extract and clean.
Yeah, I had to move them last week, all out inside the door.
It's like 4 bet clean jack. What's that?
Hanging out on camera with Paul Bob.
It seems like.
How you doing today, Paul?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful.
Like compared to the shoes.
What's the, who's top three?
Heard any good jokes lately?
They're too tight.
No?
And then they're loose.
No. Where you were supposed to chime in and have a sound.
Anytime they put money in the pot?
So, as I watched the episode last week, I got to see you bantering back and forth about my dad.
I don't want to
I agree. I think I did really.
Right
think
at the
I-
end, I thought you
Well, at the very end there, I kind of moved in. I didn't put Robert on a bigger hand to check that, and when he checked, I just fall in.
You know when he's going?
I think we're in a different hand.
I'm not sure. I just, at the end,
Well, at the end I watched, I let him, I was ahead a couple times, and let him, let the other players, take me out with hands that I shouldn't have, but to me they were kind of marginal hands, so I just figured I'd let him go and live to fight another day.
still second place.
Second place. I can make a joke there, but I won't. I'll be nice to you.
Because I'm not sure. I might just
That's
play.
all right.
I did,
I'm all right
however,
with it.
unfortunately I feel kind of bad because I took a leg out from under my horse last week when I knocked Bobby out in 10th place.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to be, I think right now it's pretty much a 4-horse race, and Bobby's still out.
Absolutely. I saw Dan and Corey were tied for points.
So Bobby and then Mark is just a couple points behind Bobby.
So at this point, it's anybody's race. And Dan has the luck of sitting to Corey's right this evening. I don't know if you call that luck or not, but we'll see how he plays it.
I'm interested to see how Dan and Corey both. Well, Corey, I know will play tighter. But Dan, let's see if Dan does. And Bobby and Mark need deep runs tonight to still have a chance.
Absolutely.
You guys good in the studio?
Perfect.
All right, I think I'm going to get things underway. Welcome everybody to game number 11, season number 4, Chase the Bracelet. We have all players, no substitutes, and let's see, who is in the lead?
Currently,
All the fingers point to
we have
Corey and Dan.
tied for first place.
Nice. Oh, Marco's all in already.
Probably the best chance he has.
We'll be getting it started here. 18-minute blinds. Blinds start at $25.50. Starting stack is 6,000 in chips, and we'll get it going. Shuffle up and deal, train.
Welcome everybody to season 4, episode 11. Next to last week. Things are winding down here.
You can see we have a little different view of the players tonight. I'm trying a little bit of different equipment out for you, just to get that clearer picture at home.
Raised to 150 by Corey.
Corey raises with pocket 8s.
Very first hand.
Just one time, I'm going to fold them.
It's going to be tough if Corey can hit this hand and continue to play hand after hand right under the 8.
8s were a big hand early last week. As I recall.
8s did play very well. I got in, with 2 players ahead of me, and happened to catch a really good flop.
I think what did it for you was Bobby's full house on the river.
Absolutely. That hand definitely played itself.
You can no longer put me all in.
So did you listen last week? And a little different in here last week without you.
It was a lot different, I noticed. But you Trevor, and Bobby definitely took care of the action. I think it was nice to give Bobby give you guys that helping hand.
Well, he enjoyed it quite a bit.
Good. Maybe I wouldn't necessarily say he's better suited for the booth because Bobby's definitely an excellent poker player.
He cashed again huge Saturday night at Rivers, third place, $100 buy-in.
Oh my God.
You definitely can't argue with his success rate.
Corey gets a walk.
It's 2 hands in a row for Corey.
Robert to act first.
Definitely on fire.
All the green ones.
So far it's been 7-4 offsuit and 9 deuce offsuit.
I actually had both.
Two of Dan already whining about his hands.
I know.
2 hands in.
'Wouldn't be the same if he didn't.
Oh, that's kind of long.
15 minutes, 56 seconds left in the blinds. Action on Robert.
But they've got lifeguards and everything else there, so I got a feeling like
Marco with ace queen here. Not a whole lot else going on though.
I mean, I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but last week out of that in the first blind level, I always typically play a lot more hands.
Well, I mentioned that before we even started. I think that you'd see you play a lot of hands early.
For me, it just the price is right for me. I think you start with 10,000 in chips or
6,000.
and start at 25.50. I mean, what is that? 100 plus big blinds. So there's a lot of room in 100 big blinds to play in. At least for me.
Ed to act first.
What is?
strippers. I mean,
Yeah, if you're gonna get. Oh, never mind, I'll figure it out. It's right.
Rob with kings.
And Paul with sevens. Let's see if Paul tries to be aggressive. You might even see Dan getting caught in the middle with an ace jack.
Oh, yeah. Dan will absolutely. I would imagine to play an ace jack.
I'd love to see Marco
Paul
play my
raises to
favorite
150.
hand.
is that like half illegal? Call.
Sue Dan calls 150.
Let's see how big a huge overraise Rob makes here.
Raise.
Going up.
Does he jam it in?
Well, if he jams, he's definitely going to have to stand out.
3 under 1.
Wow. That's a very conservative raise.
Paul got out of the way with his sevens. I'm not.
See
Not
the
to say
Dan
that I'm
folds his ace
disappointed.
jack.
I'd love to see Paul play that hand.
That's like me being surprised people call me.
I mean, I think it was what, 350, 450?
300 more. 3 more.
So,
Well, we're in the middle.
Yeah, I would have seen a flop there. See if you can spike the set.
So you gotta get up to third, so you can play next to me.
You spike a set there and it comes a 9 high board, you double up against Rob.
absolutely.
You're still in third after 2 horrible weeks.
Max to act next.
You must have.
I mean, you're taking the same gamble that he is with his
Yeah.
pair, so.
And you're only losing 300 if you don't. If you don't hit it, you just let it go.
Mark with pocket fours.
Well, Max said if he plays one more hand and doesn't get quads, he's going into the booth and Chris is.
Yeah, exactly. Or kings or.
Mark raises to 125.
To be honest though, like I thought a lot about that hand. I should just call.
Paul calls.
There's no reason for him to raise my whole set. That was my mistake. I could almost half my set.
Paul calls with a suited ace-3.
Robert calls.
Because at first I was trying to like justify like, oh, he could have did that with ace-8 or ace-7 or
Ed calls.
but there's no point to
So we
risk.
got 2 ace-3s, a pair of 4s, and a 4-7.
No, I think the 7-4 is at the internet hand.
It's queen-7.
Oh, that's queen 7, all right. I don't pay attention to a lot of the names.
That's your average starting hand, queen-7.
Paul and Ed currently in the lead.
Paul bets 325.
Looks like Ed let it go.
Everybody
let the
folded.
top pair go with no kicker.
Button moves.
I don't hate that fold.
Robert tack first.
I really don't.
Not with the
Bobby Miller.
Well, yeah, and Paul leading out.
Paul's image is just
Yeah, he's never betting king.
You know that's all over YouTube?
I have worse. We have a fact checker in the booth right now.
I spread it.
Uh-oh. Ed with aces.
Ed has an hand pretty
Max
soon.
with king, queen. Paul with ace 10.
Which is very popular.
I wouldn't like to get into a phone call.
150.
Paul raises to 150.
And Paul raised to 150 with his ace 10.
See Ed flat call here.
Well, if he does, he prices Max in to call, and that's when you can get hurt.
Raised to 450 by Ed Wigler.
If
Max
he was the
calls
big
here, Paul
blind,
needs to come along.
yeah. Paul
Max lets it go.
folded a pair pre-flop to a re-raise. Let's see what he does with ace 10. Yeah.
Dude, we talked about that.
Paul folded.
If you're going to be folding pairs, you've got to be folding ace 10 re-raises.
I wonder how often Paul feels bullied at the table.
Mark Dack first.
Four racing under the gun.
Ball raising two calls when he gets carded, right?
You know, he's getting bet out at, and he has to feel like he has the best hand most of these times. It's just his personality.
And he was just crushed both times, too, though. Kings versus 7 and aces versus
Paul raises to
ace
225.
Paul with ace king again, making it 225
ace
to go.
10. Let's see what happens here. Ed might be. Ed's the only reasonable one here to play.
That's right. Mentioned in the booth that I haven't played a hand yet.
Mr. Paul here. You're talking.
We have not mentioned that Marco has yet to play a hand. The unfortunate part is that he announced that it's something you want the other players to figure out on their own.
What would be nice, what would be really nice is if for once the well doesn't dry up.
Paul Dack first.
If I get cards all
Suited
night.
Dan with the king, queen of clubs. Max with ace.
Max getting a little last week's spot.
These are two players that like to get in the hands against each other.
Rob with a suited 4-6.
Bobby with a jack 9.
Exactly. I was just going to say.
Dan raises to 175.
I might come in with a jack 9.
There's a diamond, a spade, and a heart. Somebody's chasing the flush. I gotta hold. My aces are still good. No good. Damn it! Why can't somebody give me good cards?
Max calls 175.
Ooh. Wow, Bobby doesn't even.
It's definitely a hand I'd probably see a flop with there.
Well, he's out of
Mark
position.
calls
He doesn't
175.
like to play hands out of position.
He's definitely playing for a deep finish tonight.
Well, I know this much. If we see 3 clubs, we're going to see a huge pot.
Suited Dan in trouble.
300 bet by suited Dan.
Max should just call here.
Call.
They were left behind yesterday. Or
Nice
last week.
call.
Someone left their glasses last week.
I guess
Nice
with their
call.
bodies.
Queen.
They their glasses.
Queen or king here with
They were
just.
Tony, thank you for holding my glasses.
They're not yours. They don't say cover girl on them.
Dude, whip.
See, now Max needs to bet.
Yeah, but it's funny. I don't pay attention to things.
If something didn't come out there to
750
give a
bet by
big
Max.
draw, he could have checked behind.
Suited Dan folds.
Doesn't, doesn't get to see his quads on the river. Good try, kid.
Well played that time, I think.
Absolutely.
Button moves. Suited Dan Dack first.
My kid loved when I explained when he was younger what
why they call K9 sawmill. Yeah, you ever hear that? They call it the sawmill, because even the guys at the sawmill aren't coming up to play that. You guys never heard that?
Sawmiller's Union is on the line.
There goes one sawmill. Sorry, if there's any union people watching.
Bobby with queens, Max with fours.
Rob with queen 10. He's going to be in late position. Later position, I'll say.
Hey, I worked in the yard yesterday.
Handy.
I worked in the yard. That's very
Robert called 50.
Yeah, Stan, he plays a lot.
Those grades are a lot bigger than I did.
Max raises to 225.
You gotta dig a little.
Max.
Little
No chance to win this hand.
Less than 1%.
Bobby with queens on the button.
Raised to 600 by Bobby Million.
Don't know what to call him. Tim.
You're almost right every time there, Tony. I think Max will let these go.
Max calls.
Oh, wow. Couldn't think he'd call that. That's a big raise.
A queen 4 flop would be trouble.
Oh, that'd be...
With an overcard to Bobby's queens.
Yeah, Bobby will bet here.
Max's first act.
This is where a better player is just
Bobby bets
bets out,
650.
hoping,
Max
to
folds.
see if the ace is there or not. You check it, you just don't know. And then if he leads out on the turn, what do? Now you find out by betting out. It's like a hand last week against you. Paul had jacks.
Corey to act first.
An ace high board.
And he
You
was afraid to bet
checked
it.
it to him, and he was afraid to bet. You bet him off the hand. Where if he raised pre-flop and the ace comes out, if he makes a continuation bet, you just go away.
I have to go away.
Yeah.
With Paul's image, I have to fold to the ace. I have to fold for the same reason he does. Not a lot of action here. Dan with an ace.
Who played Omaha heads up with another guy, and he spotted him a card. So
Oh, I did hear about
yeah,
that.
the other guy got to play with 5 cards.
Wow.
Really?
That's how confident he was that he was going to...
Well, he lost 20K. But I mean, they were probably playing.
Which one lost the 20K?
The guy playing with 4 cards.
Dan's probably going to get a walk
result
here.
for the stakes that they were playing. 20K
I'd like to see Paul raise.
within the round.
No, he'll
Paul
never
calls.
raise.
I just
And this is where Dan-
love to see pure bluff out of him.
Yeah, I was going to say, once he limps in,
Dan
Dan's raising.
raises 200 on top. Takes it down.
I mean, Paul just sets himself up for failure.
Market
there.
act first.
Oh, absolutely.
You know that if you limp in, Dan's going to raise, and he just lets it happen. I kind of played on that a little bit last week in some hands against him. I had him and Rob to my left and was able to make some bets and take some blinds.
Corey with 4s in early position.
I did say out.
No, he's a blind.
I didn't say out.
Yeah, he's a big
King,
blind.
queen.
Yeah, because Dan was just a big blind.
Max with an ace-7.
Max raises to 225.
I love the aggression. I didn't have a lot of that last week from anybody else, so I definitely took that role. And
Paul
I think
calls.
it helped that I was able to eliminate Bobby early.
Dan folded.
Later in the game, Corey
Corey
took off,
calls.
so, and started making some aggressive bets with a lot of all-ins when we started three-handed. So.
Corey checks.
I think Corey's going to check call here.
Corey might not feel
Max
like
bets
it, but he's
275.
definitely in the
That's a
lead.
board I'm not. If I've got a pair, I'm going to call.
No, you pay attention to that stuff. It's not what counts.
Not what I'm supposed to. Now, see, that's you.
Yeah, if I got a player I know that's going to see bet there, I'm gonna check call him with that board.
Absolutely, but sometimes with a board like that, you have to cut off that bet and not
Paul
allow
folds.
them to make it.
I don't hate that either.
I
Corey
think
folds.
it was a good time for Corey to make a raise, or to make any bet at that point. Even repeat the
First
same
act
bet
will be
pre-flop.
Robert.
just throw it back out there and just kind of see what's happening.
What's that?
Robert, 2013 Tough Mudder finisher.
Hey. Whoa. What the heck?
Baller status.
Wow. That was pretty funny.
I can do that whenever I want those things.
Also do just tell
Dan
them
with an
that-
ace rag.
Nobody catches anything when Dan catches a weak ace.
See if he raises it up. If it gets, it should get around to him.
I mean, I'm not seeing any bluffs at all.
I'd have raised an ace there without even hesitating. Corey raises his jack 10.
Everyone seems to be playing so tight today.
I think Marco is trying a new strategy.
Definitely the wrong time for it.
See, the live stream should have like a beeper or something, like a buzzer that goes off like every couple minutes so people
Right. Or like,
Well, yeah, commercial comes on.
anytime there's a flop, they go beep beep.
Suited Dan.
With a big ace. Bobby with an ace 3 suited. No doubt he'll play that.
Corey with a king queen. King queen is trouble.
Paul calls 50.
Paul limps in with king 9 off. Paul just tries to see so many
Limps
flops.
in with two players
Yeah.
behind.
Raised to 225 by suited Dan.
He just tries to see too many flops for just minimum all the time.
I mean, I don't mind seeing flops in this short level, but if you're going to see them, you need to see a lot
600
more than
total
he
by
does.
Corey.
Corey raises to 600. I think he's going to be taking advantage of Dan here a little bit on this.
Or he gets to act after Dan every
Yeah.
time,
They're
except
both,
for one.
Dan's
Suited
calling
Dan
this
calls.
time with ace jack. The last time he got re-raised with ace jack suited and hold it. And Corey flops one of the two kings.
Action on Dan.
But that it makes
Checks.
it so Dan can let it go. Makes it a little easier.
800.
800 bet by Corey.
Dan can't call.
I've seen Dan make calls before that I didn't think he could.
Suited folds.
He's just like he hit the jack there too.
I just have to say, Paul Moskowitz looks so much better in HD.
Top set.
Oh, look at that. Split screen. Ooh.
Blinds are up 5,100. 16 minutes, 50 seconds left in the blinds.
The players at the table are obviously
Ed with ace queen.
And
Max with sevens. Paul
Max stack
with
first.
twos.
Well, then Viper was talking about some guy.
Twos are okay. Corey
Corey
with
with
ace
ace
king.
king suited.
A lot of action this hand. I'd love to
325 bet by Max.
a monster, and then you put it in this card, and then people think
There's a lot of aces and queens gone already.
Have yet to see Mark or Marco play a hand.
Mark hasn't had too much, I know that. Marco hasn't either.
750 now.
Corey makes it 750.
Corey.
raises.
Getting involved early.
Now I let an ace queen go. I wonder. Let's see what Ed does.
Yeah, when
See
there's
if
a
he feels
raise and a
behind.
re-raise, ace queen shrinks up a lot.
Action on Ed.
You got to be thinking pair and ace king when there's raises and re-raises.
That's okay.
Ed folds.
That's it's an exact coin flip here.
Yeah. This is a hand where I don't know. I'm not afraid to let sevens go in this spot.
Max calls.
10, 9, 4.
Max checks.
Max, the original raiser, should have c-bet there. He did get re-raised, but with a board like that.
900 bet by Corey.
Corey usually does not do this early without a big hand most of the time, so.
This is what camera goes through.
Max calls.
Oh. See, that's what getting stubborn with little pairs.
See, I like the call, but I would have loved to have seen him bet out.
Well, see, I didn't like the call pre.
Corey bets 2,000.
Especially against somebody like Corey.
Two overcards to your pair. You've given up the lead in the hand. You have to let it go. I don't think he wants to. I think he still kind of questions his play, but I feel kind of like I should have taken Robert out with quads last week.
First act will be Max.
That was the tournament set.
Right. Max, your big blind, Max. Bobby, none of it.
Sorry about that. First act will be Bobby.
Yeah, and he came yard.
Ed with ace, Max with ace 9.
See if Max tilts it all here. He is big blind. If Ed raises, let's see if he protects his blind.
Oh, I didn't realize they were both the blinds. Yeah, that could get interesting.
Just little dynamics like that
See if Rob,
change hands.
yeah, see if Rob tries to steal here.
Should. He absolutely should with the queen 6.
Right.
Robert raised to 375.
This is where Ed needs to put in a big re-raise. He's got to put him on a steal and re-raise it.
Max them off.
Raised to 800 by Ed Wigler.
Nice.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Robert's going to let it go.
Yeah, but
Love to see him play it.
I love the re-raise though.
I'm not one to feel
Robert
bullied
folds.
by someone else at the table. If you're going to re-raise me, I kind of like to play back with mediocre hands if I can. But if I feel like I'm absolutely beat, definitely going to let it go.
Mark Dak first.
But some hands for me are definitely worth gambling.
How much you have behind?
Shut up.
Thank you.
Queen 6 off shouldn't be won.
Oh, queen 6 is my favorite hand. Suited, unsuited, I'll play it all day.
Let's see, Mark finally gets an ace here. Let's see what he does with it. Yeah, early position, he's going to fold it.
Probably doesn't say much for the rest of my game, but we still got there last week, Paul.
Oh, I
Got
know
one
you
for
did.
us. We got to show these young kids that we still got it.
I surprised him.
Oh, I don't.
Bobby with a 4-5 offsuit here in the big blind.
Walk it out. Walk it out.
And he gets the walk. Even gives us a little song. Still yet to see Mark come into a hand.
Or Marco.
It's a very quiet evening so far.
Well, and Mark, in his defense, knows he needs a deep finish, and
Paul Dag
he's not
first.
going to get involved. I mean, as soon as he gets a reasonable hand, I'm sure he's going to play. But there's no reason to get involved with it.
See if we can get Marco here with the Jack Queen. Max with 7s again.
Me and Paul have the same bike.
Same what?
The same bike.
Does it say cover girl?
Chance at quads here.
Crazy. I can't believe you.
Nope, Ed's got one.
Everybody's got a chance
Marco
at
calls,
quads, don't
100.
they?
Nope.
No, no,
Ed
there's a
has a
7
7.
going.
Yeah. Well, I did it first, so that's the only reason I did it.
Other than that, yeah.
Ed calls.
I don't even know what that
Max
means.
calls.
It's the 8.2.
Bobby, it's a Jack 5 going.
Out there in my first big ride just the other day.
Does that one have disc brakes? That's why.
Mark is in the hand.
Yeah.
Oh, Oh, you don't have this break?
I got the one right below it.
Oh, okay.
Mark flops top pair, Marco flops second, Ed flops third.
And Max is caught in the middle.
With 2 overcards out there. He's just crushed.
I rode a bike to
And it goes check,
All players
check.
check.
I knew I'd have to adapt.
Spade draw on the turn for nobody.
I'd like to see Mark bet his ace now because he's going to get called by Marco for sure. Maybe Max.
I think Max is definitely going to let sevens
Mark
go
bets
after,
250.
after the last time. I think Marco just hasn't played a
Marco
hand, so he
calls.
definitely has to put some money in there now.
Part of it goes along Route 8, and then it goes down. Eventually it works.
Yeah, Max does let it go.
And Max fold.
3 outs for Marco,
you can actually ride on Rabbit, and it goes for a long time.
and that's not one of them.
There's food and stuff you can stop at on the way.
Mark shows ace for the win.
Right on the shoulder, man.
Did that go check,
They
check?
watch out for them. They watch out for them.
Suited hand act first.
That's why you have a mountain bike.
Yes, it was.
What was that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, we're like kind of interested.
Just
So we need to get you an earpiece for that, I
I
think.
would have liked to seen a bet by Mark
the way
on
we
the river
communicate?
What if
there.
they talk through that instead by accident?
Small one. If Marco had an ace, he was betting flop.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Max with a suited 9-10.
That never happens.
Now that's a hand I
Or
definitely
Marco
play.
bets 4-9 off.
Exactly.
Just say through there.
I don't hate raising it.
Suited connectors are very valuable.
confirmation?
No, they wouldn't ask that. They would just.
325 bet by Max.
Good raise.
Marco's playing, call him up.
Max has not won the hand.
Paul calls.
The screen is reading incorrectly. We'll keep you updated
Nice
as we
shot, PJ. Max flops an open-ended straight.
Max bets 325.
Let's see if Paul gives the kid any respect.
Wow.
Raised to 1100 by Paul Moskowitz.
Wow.
Max can't believe it.
Paul never does this, though.
Never.
Never does this. I love it.
No. Oh, Max.
Paul calls.
Let's see what happens.
So let everybody know this. Wake everybody up. Oh, I'm in the hand. Forget it.
Paul bets here. Max can't call. Yeah.
Paul bets 1200. Max folds.
Nice.
Terrible turn card.
Oh, that's the only
Did he show deuce?
Show the deuce. I'm very impressed.
Oh, that's even better.
Or ace deuce. No, ace deuce.
I think at this point it just looks like Max is just ready to tilt. He just wants to.
I doubt it.
I was worried
There's
he
no
had
way.
Jack
He's
or an
calling
eight.
it. There's no way.
And that's all you can do is just sit there and just take it.
There's no way he
Wait for the next one.
Did he call it 7 deuce?
No. He's calling with it's ace deuce.
Corey Dack first.
That's the only thing that makes sense. Like, there's no way.
Rob with
Newman
aces.
with aces.
Unless he just got.
Marco with king jack. He might play.
Head by
I've
seven.
been watching how I've
I
been
think Robert's probably going to make a huge bet here.
Marco raises to 300.
Marco raised.
Robert will
So
probably make it like 1,000.
I now
he's got to, really, with that many people behind.
Call 300 by Robert.
See, that's just trouble.
You're
You would have never.
With that many people behind you.
asking for
Yeah.
the
Because Paul Boston told him to.
7
Ed
people
calls 300.
left behind you to come along.
You're just pricing people in.
He's into the Cleveland steamer?
Luckily, nobody's got anything they can even get in there, really. Oh, wait a minute. Suited Dan's got queen 4. That's good enough.
300 against Marco, Rob, and Ed.
Apparently, he likes
Playing some crazy cards.
Suited Dan calls.
Absolutely get you there.
Oh, yeah.
If you get the feeling that everyone else is playing tight,
Boy, here comes a queen 4 flop. Rob will never fold.
see that they haven't been in that many hands.
Yeah.
It's time to play some garbage for the money.
That's one thing about it. If you slow
Dan
play a
back
big
first.
hand like aces, you got to be able to fold it. Uh-oh.
Rob flops a set.
And Dan flops a flush draw.
All players check.
Ouch.
And now Dan's got a 3 here. Would just be a
Robert
killer.
has to bet here.
700.
Robert bet 700.
Oh, Dan's priced in.
6. I believe there's 1,200 plus in the pot.
1250 in the pot.
1,250.
Yeah.
Suited Dan calls.
Yeah, Dan.
Prices
Marco
him
folds.
in.
3 or a diamond for Dan.
Ouch.
Quad aces for Rob.
Ask and you shall receive.
Robert
Here
bets
comes the
1,000.
gloating.
Show them things.
Quad aces.
City.
Everybody's getting quads.
Dan knowing if he could have hit that 4
No,
or
he
diamond.
knows he gets paid off. Absolutely.
Diamond maybe not. 4 absolutely 3. Whatever it was to make the straight.
I'd like to thank Train for proving this game is not rigged. The people on the Chase the Bracelet staff do not always make quads. They're
Marco
not
back
the only
first.
ones.
I was playing so
We do give it to the players every once in a while as well.
Rob with ace rag.
No, that's why. Yeah, that's what exactly. That's exactly
Let's see what he'll play this.
Robert calls 100.
Yeah, he loves
crazy
those
how
hands.
tight everybody was playing, and then
3 minutes, 28 seconds left in the
After
line.
quads, you have to play the next.
Well, he would have played it whether even if he had lost it.
Dan checks his option or calls the small blind.
Corey with 2-5.
Corey checks.
Well, it seemed like a lot of like recreational.
Dan with the suited 2-gapper here.
Playing poker that don't really. Like the whole field, even cash.
Nobody flops anything. They check it over to Rob. He's going to
Robert bets 300.
Not good. Like they seem like they just come to have a good time and buy in and just keep buying in. They're losing 300.
Takes it down.
Do you know Misty? Do you see Misty there?
Robert tapped first.
She's dealt for it before, right?
You'll notice her by the nails.
She was on this show for a season, and dealt once or twice. She runs the Medina.
I know her. I know her.
Well, she was playing Rivers tournament, I guess.
Oh, is that right? It was the Rivers that she was in?
Yeah, because when I was trying to reach you, to let her know.
I probably knocked her out.
CCPL.
Corey with an ace king.
I saw later. I saw on Facebook. She was
Not too much else going on here.
Mark raises to 225.
Mark trying to steal at the wrong
Corey
time.
calls.
Oh, Corey just called with ace king.
Marco folds.
King here would hurt Mark.
Corey way out.
See if Mark makes a C bet here.
All players check.
I'm gonna have to watch that before you.
Now Mark picks up a diamond draw. I would like the continuation bet there by Mark when Corey checked.
You have to just bet sometimes.
Yeah.
Corey bets 350.
The cards will not always win you the hand.
I think Mark has to call now. But I don't know.
1 minute left in the blind.
If he knew how many diamonds were gone, he probably would.
Probably not. 6 out.
Oh my god, you know it's the other.
What's the river? We don't see it.
Deuce of spades.
2 of spades on the river.
Bobby, I think I know what I'm
Let's see if Corey bets here. If Mark raises,
I quit.
there's no way.
I know. Now you got Bobby telling you what to do.
800 bet by Corey.
Corey really
Mark
taking
Foltz.
advantage of some of the people that are close in points here so far.
Ed Dack first.
Mark lost the lead on not betting the flop.
This hand blinds are 5,100.
The downside is Dan doesn't seem to want to gamble. There's a lot of players tonight that don't seem to want to take those chances.
It would be a fun episode.
There's a lot of times you got to be willing. If you start it, you got to be willing to finish the bluff.
Huge ball, right?
That means firing 3 shots at it and missing all 3. Sometimes you got to take them.
Yeah.
Because then if you continue to do that, you're going to get paid on your bigger
Paul
hand.
calls 100.
Right.
Marco calls 100. Robert checks his option.
And the next week you come in, you got like a sling on it.
I was like, what'd you say to me, Marco?
Marco in the lead with an ace.
See, if I was in 3rd or 4th place here, I'd be doing like Corey.
Paul bets 300.
Taking advantage of Corey and betting at him. Yeah.
Robert
Bobby's
raises
in
to
a really
800.
good spot to make plays.
Right. Because you got to get some
500
chips
for
and get
Paul.
a
Switch to
deep
call.
run in this thing.
Getting back to
Paul folds.
Sure is a lot quieter
Max
in here
stack
this
first.
week.
Blinds are 75, 150.
Well, there were 3 of you.
It's never quiet anywhere Bobby is.
Never. He's the life of the party.
And you get Trevor and Bobby together, it can get crazy.
Rob with a jack queen.
Corey with an ace-8 suited. Suited Dan with ace-7. Ed with 6-7 suited. That's another hand I like to play.
Paul calls 100.
That kind of hand.
I don't think you can beat 2 ace of diamonds.
Paul calls 150.
Corey's
Suited
putting
Dan
some
calls.
chips together tonight. Early.
Raised to 500 by Corey.
I think he's using that really tight image late in the season, and he's definitely coming
Robert
out of his
calls.
shell to play a lot more hands.
Rob calls with the jack queen of diamonds.
Let's see if Corey loses a couple, I think he'll probably slow down.
Yeah, I agree with you, but till he does,
Play it until
it's
you
working
do.
to his advantage so far.
Sprint as long as you can.
He likes deuce too.
Paul gonna call with the 5-6 suited, huh?
Love it.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Oh, what's got him a little bit?
Ah,
Yeah, that's what I thought. There he is. There's my Paul
Dan Foltz.
Moskowitz. And this one could cost Corey a little bit.
Corey with middle pair.
See, why wouldn't he check
1100
here?
bet by Robert.
Why wouldn't Rob check here?
Because he's Rob. I think he might still get paid off.
I don't know if he will or not.
Corey's got a backdoor heart draw. I'm sure he's not factoring that in, but that's the type
maybe
of
he
hand
is
that I
gonna
would
get.
play.
He might be raising here. Rob will move all in if he raises.
Corey's very methodical with his raises.
2600 bet by Corey.
Rob Robert not gun shy at all.
Yeah, Rob will never fold top pair.
And let's see if he shoves.
I would be surprised if he didn't. Be a great play not to.
It's standard for him, I think.
Is he really thinking about folding here?
If he only knew how far ahead he was.
I love Corey's luck, too.
I think he's just waiting. I still think the only thing on Robert's mind is I'm going to shove, but when?
I really think he's thinking about, I've never seen him take this long. That's why I think he's thinking about folding. He usually acts so fast.
He hasn't made one motion towards his cards at all this game.
He likes it when I do that thing with myself.
Corey looking very confident.
Robert folds.
And he lets it go.
Yeah, Corey was looking very confident.
I think Corey should have showed an ace. I think it's at that point that you just let them wonder if he had ace-queen or aces.
I would like to see him just
Bobby V. Million to act first.
Really?
I mean, unfortunately, we see it from the good side, but I definitely don't like Robert's fold.
Well, I don't like it just because you're out of it. You're out of the points. You know, try to get some chips and win one. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Bobby with ace king, Ed with ace 10, Corey with threes, Rob with nines
after losing a big hand.
Bobby raises to 350.
You know, it's always different when you're sitting in the game, and you know you have to take into account what just happened to that play or the last hand or the hand before, and are they still steaming? Are they so much to it?
You know, Corey's been playing a lot of hands, and
I think Corey has probably played more hands this game than he has the rest of the games combined.
Yeah. And I was just going to say, if he keeps it up, there's going to be some people calling him.
Well, the best part is the hands that he's playing are decent hands.
Robert calls.
Oh, yeah.
He's just opened up a lot sooner, which is
And
amazing.
betting and re-raising and
Ed folds.
He's definitely going to get a call.
I love the way he plays.
Max calls.
At 350, and Max coming in with an 8-9.
4 players.
Ace King man.
Oh, Max wants the straight.
Max in love here. Look, he's praying. Thanking God for that one.
Yeah. It's always nice when you play a piece of crap and flop gin.
And he's just watching Robert commit chips.
Robert bets 1,200.
I think his pre-flop percentage was about 3.
Max announces all in. $1,600 for Robert to call.
This is where Robert shouldn't make the call.
Robert calls.
And does.
Max catching a break in this hand. Max with the win. Jack,
Like a double up there, Max. I guess if you can't win with the bad hands, win with the crappy ones.
See, the thing with me though is my quads went from a small stack and continued to grow until the end. Robert, just after his quads, seems to go down the hill.
I think he was on tilt for throwing that hand to Corey. Because he never should have made that.
Mark Cutrofello to act first.
You bet your nines, somebody moved in, you let him go.
I'll check so you can continuation.
No,
I'll check so you can bet while
Bobby bet his ace king that hand in
I
like
really didn't even realize I had this drink until I double
after Robert's bet.
It's a good thing you don't check the card.
Wait, you check twice or?
I used to
Marco
check
with
once
ace
and
10.
then I know what I had, but then I
I
just
didn't
look
see
again
Marco
just to
play a
add
hand.
what
It's been a while.
Well, I double checked now because I accidentally.
400.
I think I had.
Raised to 400 by Marco.
Good
And that
raise.
should take it down.
I want Bobby's blind. I want Bobby's blind.
Okay, give him.
I'm, you know, no, he gets no chance.
Whoa.
Marco, happy to take Bobby's blind.
You're not, Rob.
One way to get chips from him.
Paul Moskowitz stacked first.
Paul's definitely slowing down from playing King 9 after losing a few.
I still love the ace deuce of hearts more.
My mom walked us right out of the theater.
She did? I remember one part. It's like a 2-second thing. What's that? It's the jello going and
She was like, gas. Grabbing my
So we
brother.
got Rob with an ace queen. He lets that go.
You can see 15 people get killed. That's what they
We were like,
Thought we might see him
You're not kidding. My
raise that
grandparents used
up
to let me
there.
watch like horror movies, like Friday the 13th. As soon as a boob popped on TV, I had to leave the room. I could watch him slaughter, 50 people in a row.
Bobby raises to 400.
I think Bobby's raising 100% of the time.
Takes it down.
Small blind, no matter what he's got. When it's folded around to him, he's just going to raise.
When I saw that witch melt, I was freaking out.
Suited Dan
The
first.
first two characters is playing tough.
I'll let him go early. But when the blinds start to get bigger, I'll get tired of it.
Absolutely. If you try and steal too many times.
Yeah, I just move in. If I lose, I lose.
See Paul playing ace king out of the big blind here.
Guess I'm gonna have to read joke.
He's the comedy.
It always seems to be though when the time I finally stand up is when they actually have a
It's the
hand.
time that they,
They got queen like that.
I'm sorry.
battle of the
Didn't
blinds.
quite come across like you intended.
I have to respect your elders.
Ah,
He's holding up.
Mark raises to 375.
don't mind him.
Let's see Paul fire back.
I absolutely would love to see him re-raise.
Say, don't push me around. I have a real hand.
Paul raises to 600.
I think Mark might have to call. It's such a small raise.
That one scene where he's riding in the back of the school bus.
No, remember, he's underneath it? That's the one where it's from Stewie's
But Paul doesn't re-raise very often.
View or something.
But it's questionable because it's such a small re-raise.
Yeah.
So is he trying to represent that big hand? Ace king, ace queen, ace jack even. Medium pairs, 7s, 8s, 9s.
Nice fold.
Mark folds
Nice
ace 9
fold.
off.
Oh, the same card.
And
Paul shows an ace.
let's Mark pick a card, and Mark picks the ace. He knows he was out kick there.
Paul,
I always show Mark.
come on. I think it's attached. Turn your head this way a little bit. You got like a hair hanging.
It's like flying like you're on stage.
Turn this way, turn left a little bit. Oh, I think you got it.
Nope, it's
Oh,
still there. It's
no.
still there.
It's on the other side.
Marco giving grooming tips at the table.
Wait, I had to look and see if you guys put ink on my fingers.
That's great.
We're magic. We did that.
Corey Dack
I
first.
think Marco is going to help Paul with his manscaping for the game next week.
I hope not. Marco with an ace king.
Max with the queen jack of hearts.
And Mark.
Bobby with a 7, 8 of spades.
Marco raises to 425.
Mark with ace jack.
Bobby mathematically ahead here.
This is a hand I'm not sure Bobby will play. Yeah.
Mark Cucciafella calls.
Well, good night, everybody.
Suited Dan calls.
Ace jack 10.
Dangerous.
Yeah, I'll take you to dinner. I cut him bracelets.
Queen 10 jack.
You can have a couple legs.
10-4-7.
And suited Dan flops the best hand.
Suited Dan takes a huge lead.
All players check.
Mark with almost no chance of winning. Suited Dan with top pair and a straight.
500 bet by suited Dan.
Bobby would have caught 2 pair on the turn. To a check.
Mark's smelling shenanigans here.
He thinks he smells shenanigans. Dan just looking at him.
This is the one you want to let go of, Mark.
Show the other. Yeah. I win.
Showing cards. Have some free information, Mark.
Well, Bobby, you'd win if you would have played. A very playable hand.
Mark would act first.
That's the most amazing
revelation.
Suited Dan with ace 8. Oh, Rob with aces again.
Sadly, though, this is a time where you want
Robert
to see
calls.
aces get cracked. Same player with them. We'd love to see him win all the time, but I'm a fan of aces going down and playing. As long as I'm on the good end of it.
I call. Oh yeah, he shot black.
My favorite Family Guy is
Flop. No, I'm asking. You were saying
This is the hand that
Suited Dan calls
I really
150.
hate calling call out of position.
What
with
if
ace
Corey?
rag.
What's Corey gonna do here?
I think he's folding.
Oh, I remember that.
First, I just started.
Check.
No, he's
Corey's
not.
raising.
So easy on the beginner.
Raised to 5.
Raise 2-5.
Corey raises to a total of 500.
Oh, just call here.
350 for both players to call.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Robert calls.
That's beautiful.
Suited Dan calls.
Suited Dan called a raise and a re-raise there, I think. Oh,
Corey flops
oh.
the winner.
Suited checks.
Check it, Corey. Check
Corey
it.
checks. Robert checks.
Ace on the turn. I'd like to see Corey check again.
I would too.
All players
Wow.
check.
Robert with the ability to check it.
A jack or a 3 here.
Unable to see the river.
What's the river?
Sorry guys, it's okay.
Jack of diamonds on the river.
This could very well get him paid off.
600 bet by Corey Mikesell.
Corey
Robert
only
calls.
bets 600. And all Robert
I
can
think
do
Dan might
is
call here too.
You have to feel like somebody's got
Yeah.
a jack or queen.
Suited Dan calls.
Obviously, somebody has a queen.
I mean, I
Well, you
don't,
got what you asked for.
I don't understand how Robert can just make a call there.
On the river?
On the river.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the trouble you get into with just smooth calling aces.
Edward
I
goes
still,
first.
I like to play. He just got unlucky. I didn't think there was any way in hell Dan would call. So I love when I
Sorry,
think I
it
can
is
get the
Robert.
heads up. I love just sitting there with aces. And I'll tell you what, he played it well.
Yeah, Robert to act first.
He lost the
minimum. Yeah.
without a doubt. He played those very well.
I don't know how to play this game.
Marco with a 9-10.
But we'll make sure to tell him how bad he played him on break.
As some kind
I
of.
mean, at that point, like,
I mean, it's like
you're only going to get called by a jack or queen when you bet.
Yeah, and I counterfeit all their bottom pairs stuff.
He's very lucky
Suited
he
Dan
didn't bet
calls.
the turn. 'Cause I think I would have bet the turn there.
With the aces?
Like you do with
Absolutely.
cash flow.
The market, all those hands, you basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Marco checks his option.
Okay.
Both players check. 200 bet by Marco.
Dan with
Call
the
by
gut
suited Dan.
shot draw. Marco makes 2 pair here. He's in trouble.
400.
I'm surprised when you raised it.
400 bet by Marco.
No thought behind it. He just throws the money in there.
Suited Dan folds.
He
Wastes no time to get that money out.
Ed Dak first.
See, there's where I'd have been happy to check the river on the second pair. A straight draw got there, a flush draw got there.
I think at this point I had it helped in eliminating 2 or 3 people.
By this point, I think we had lost 4.
We were heads up within the hour.
Yeah, we lost 4 before first break.
Max with a suited 3-4, Bobby with a suited 4-5.
Dan with a suited 69.
Definitely something you would notice, Paul. Our middle school references.
Dan calls 200.
I just was mentioning it because I knew he would play it.
Marco calls the 200 and Robert checks his option.
Heart flush here would be funny. Uh-oh.
2 hearts.
Marco and Robert check. Suited Dan checks.
Heart. And now Marco's got the lead with the 7.
Marco
Dan's
bets
got a
300.
straight draw
Robert
and
folds.
a flush draw.
Suited Dan calls.
Heart. Heart.
Sorry.
Oh. As we root from the booth.
Check.
Marco checks.
Hey, Frank, can you throw my change over closer to
Yes, sir, I can make sure I try.
And I throw my change over here.
That's a problem with playing them crap hands like that. They just bleed you dry.
Marco ahead with a 7.
I don't mind playing them every now and then, but if you play them every time.
Max stacked first.
You don't hit one of them, you're going to get out quick.
Steal a chip by putting a piece of tape on the bottom of the glass.
Yep.
Right.
That means have your chip for good luck.
Yeah, for good luck.
What?
Put a little piece of tape on the
It's
bottom.
usually like a hot girl
No.
or something.
Yeah.
Walks around like, oh, let me tap your chip for good luck. Takes off the top chip. I'm out of here.
She taps a $1,000.
Bobby the 9-10 suited.
Good luck, good luck, good luck.
Dan with Jack 9 suited.
Keeps tapping the same
Don't think
stack.
9-10's a hand, Bobby.
No, not in early position. That's what I was saying about those hands. He'll let him go a lot.
No, you have left.
Suited Dan calls 200.
Stay stuck to the table.
And I'd much rather suited Dan raise them than just call with them.
Is that
Robert
NIT
calls.
or KNIT?
It's so
Ed
hard
checks
to
his
call
option.
from there. You're giving 10-5 and 3-6 a chance in the hand.
Yes.
No.
Ed takes the lead with a 6.
And on Dan should bet.
Come on, what's $1?
All players check.
I know you were playing.
All players check.
I usually for the first hour.
Everyone afraid of the board?
He just gave up. Yeah.
It's when they do it.
All players check.
And 6. They come to the table with like a glass of Coke or whatever, so when they
Ed takes it down.
Ed, in just as much shock as we are that a 6 took that down.
I think I bet anywhere, except maybe the river. Wins the pot for Dan there.
Bobby B. Million to act first.
The best is when the prostitutes strike cash and the has no cash value chips.
Is that how you pay him?
Hey.
That is hilarious.
Max with the Jack King, Bobby with the Negro.
Or you take one of those like 89-cent cards. You know, like
Beautiful,
from
beautiful hand. He's getting this beautiful suited connector. Nice.
Just getting him in a position where he doesn't want to play him though.
It was the $25 from the tournament. And then we're playing Cassie Toast. I thought they were going to.
No, I'm saying you can get in trouble for picking up money and using it. Like you're not supposed to find money and be able to keep it. You have to turn it in.
Ed and Max in.
You know, when they used to
So I
have
gotta go
the,
complain. I lost some money.
they would get mad when
Well,
they used to
no.
have the bar, like the, we put
Max
quarters
Fluff's
actually in
top
the
pair
machines and the poker things. If you would go in and try and do the trade.
Max bets
you took
200.
money out and they caught you, they'd say that's the bar's money. You can't have that.
Yeah.
Ed
Because
folds.
there's always inevitably, people would put coins in and they'd miss and they'd go through to the change part.
The reason is because they say they can find whoever's it is by looking back on the camera. They can find out who dropped it or where.
Yeah, they're gonna do that.
I'm saying that's the reason behind it.
They're splitting it up among.
They're saying
Yeah.
it's security.
Meanwhile, you can think
Oh,
there's
how
clues and it's like, oh, we're not going to the camera for that.
And then when you realize that, it didn't match the other people's 20 back, it's like, holy crap.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Ed with an ace-10.
Queens. He's getting some big
He's
hands.
definitely picking up a lot of hands. They just don't all seem to pay off for him.
Most beautiful concert I've ever seen.
What did they tell him?
They were pretty good. No one really bitched about it. They just got a good laugh at it.
Robert raises to 650.
If he's gonna get a call, he's gonna get it out of Ed.
We're at playing catch for
That's a big raise, isn't it?
Any better to call.
I don't remember.
Because if you're just calling, that's no big deal. You say, oh, and you put a real.
What are the blinds right now,
Frank?
Frank?
And people pull behind you, and you're like, wait a minute. No, what if you put it like that?
And
Well,
then
wait, what if
then
what
he's
if the
just
big one's like
obligated
that?
to
So
be
you're like,
with that.
you know.
He's just obligated.
Or 3 people call with a big tip also.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Ed calls 650.
I called that.
The worst thing that ever happened to me at the poker table, this is when 7-card studs, we were playing that, like, so this is ages ago. And they played at Horizon in Tahoe with a free button, so if you won the previous pot, you didn't have to pay whatever the blind or the ante.
Robert all in for
Roll up kings.
12.5.
And the guy with everyone folds, and even the guy with the free, he goes, oh.
11.
Most
11.25.
of the buttons, I didn't even, nobody, even the guy with the free.
If Marco would shut up, you guys could hear.
Yeah,
Ed can't call here.
I was calling.
I'm not sure about the call pre-flop at ace-10.
Well, I think he wanted to
Ed
take
folds.
just kind of seeing if he can hit call.
It's another one of them hands I don't like calling raises with.
I think we should keep this for the next season, the same cast.
Please date him.
Well, everybody but Marco.
Minus Rob.
Dan's here, I'm not going.
We have felt that way ever since season 1. We get used to everybody, and then it's that force thing, actually.
I think so far suited Dan and Paul Moskowitz have been in all 3 of the previous seasons.
Dan didn't play in one common.
Paul Moskowitz has been our only player continuously. Rob Newman, I believe, started in season number 2.
Paul announces a raise.
No, he was in season 1.
500.
So Robert has been here the entire time as well.
I'm not sure. Yeah, he won season 2, right?
Yes, and Paul won season 3.
Yeah.
Came out a couple years ago. Olivia Wilde was back in a couple of those like
Folds over to Mark.
pretty good actors.
Mark folds.
They're into like out in Iowa.
Paul raises it up and takes it down.
Guys
Basically.
from Modern Family.
What are the blinds right now?
100, 200.
1, 2.
He's this like prodigious butter carver. They have like this.
I guess Rob's raise wasn't quite as big as I thought.
And this little girl is adopted by this little black girl is adopted by this like super white Iowa family, and she has this gift for butter carving. And she goes up and competes against this guy's wife.
Action on Dan.
Marco and Ed both
Yeah.
with ace 4. Suited Dan with king 8 suited. Let's it go.
No, that's great. Well, it's sunny out now, guys.
Ed raises to 625.
See, no, I like that. If you're going to play that hand, raise it up.
625.
And from here on out.
And I think against those blinds, it's a great time to raise.
Yeah.
Against both Mark and Paul,
12 hours of time is really where
it's a good spot to pick to raise.
See outside.
That's why I bought the bike, because I'm like, I gotta get outside and do something.
Right, you should ride a bike too, because Dan will steal it.
Corey Dak first.
Over the summer, I'm going to do a lot.
6 minutes left in the blinds. Blinds are 100, 200.
Well, like, I'm gonna get lazy and...
I ain't gonna ride it.
Yeah, it just helps if you have another person to tell you a badass.
Well, that's why, like, I won't go out and run.
Suited Dan with
I
ace and nine.
motivated to do it, but like, if I have like a bike, I don't even notice that I'm actually like working out or getting fit.
Oh, I'm sorry, get that from my mouth.
I think if Bobby raises here, suited Dan will absolutely call.
450.
450 bet by B Million.
Bobby is his name. Bob. We call him Bob.
Dewey.
Suited Dan will call this, I think.
Is Bobby 14,000? Bobby 14,000.
Is that a call?
Yes.
Suited Dan calls.
Call him bad beat Bobby.
Just a reminder
Both
of
players
my
check.
favorite hand. Little pop up on the board there.
Suited Dan a big favor here.
Both players check.
Just check again. Now suited Dan.
Let's see if anybody wants to take the lead.
Both players check.
Suited Dan takes it down.
Well, I knew not to bet. I should have bet though. No, I mean on the flop. I'm saying on the river. I should have.
No,
I was kind of just running all out.
Well, that's why I thought you had it there, because you look like you want to do it.
Looks like we are definitely in it for the long haul, folks.
Marco Dak first.
I don't forget not to hear at 9 o'clock tonight.
I think people watched The Walking Dead today. I hope you have that on record.
Good call, Dan.
Season's over.
Oh, okay. It's the glory of not having cable. I don't have to keep up with things like that.
That's the unglory of not having a life. I got this and TV.
And one of them only costs you one time a month.
Suited Dan calls. Corey
Commentating doesn't
calls.
cost me anything.
Absolutely not. Oh, I thought you were talking poker in general.
No,
I was
just
giving you some
commentating.
credit, Paul.
Yeah. I'm about ready to quit poker again.
200 bet by Corey.
I'm playing so bad it's just pathetic.
Suited raises to 700.
Sometimes you just have to play through the
Corey
game.
folds.
At least it feels that way anyhow. I'm sure that there's nothing that's happening. However, it feels a lot better when you play through those downswings.
No, I know. Sometimes
Robert Dak first. 2 minutes, 45 seconds
Have to
left
do
in the
your
clock.
best to minimize your losses.
He was talking about her now? He never has a second book copy, huh?
Were you deep in the mud?
I was face deep in the mud.
No, it's just one of them things I make her read and go with it, and I'm just
deep into that dark tunnel.
Well, you like it too? You
like
like
a
the news?
fraction of an inch off in the read. I'll know they're weak, and they'll have me out pipped by one on the kicker.
These are those things you have to pay attention to. Ed with an ace king, Corey with a suited jack queen.
Yeah.
What's her name, Lisa?
Ed raises to 450.
It was my experience with Ed last week is that he wasn't raising unless he had some pretty decent hands.
It's most of the season has been that.
He seems to have been playing very tight.
He doesn't make many moves.
I hate all you guys.
So I was definitely worried when Ed started building up a chip stack, but then Robert just seemed to not be able to go away.
Yeah, Rob was down to next to nothing at
1
one
minute,
point.
26 seconds left in the blinds.
Ed takes that hand left down. Max's cards just
Action
didn't
on
fold.
Ed to act first.
Let's see if I wonder if break's going to change anybody. If somebody's going to come back and fire a little more. Definitely not seeing anybody taking a real aggressive lead.
Well, there's 4 people here. Well, Corey was there for a while. He built up a pretty good chip stack, I think.
So he's looks like he's definitely switched gears, but might be time to put it into third and give it a little gas.
I think he may have realized he was on the verge of playing too many, and he was going to start getting played back at.
Straight.
Well,
So
Corey
did
raises to 500.
Oh, Corey raised.
Corey made it 5.
Is he stealing one before break?
He stole the last
Blinds
one before
fold.
break.
Doesn't matter if he's stealing it. He gets it anyhow.
19 seconds left in the blinds.
We have one more hand.
One more then.
Max to act first.
Ed with jacks, Max with king queen. Now this is definitely the hand where you feel like Ed might be stealing.
Max calls 200.
You know he's going to raise out of the big blind.
Yeah, I really hate the limp in early position with king queen.
Suited Dan calls
You're
200.
going to play that, raise it.
Raised to 900 by Marco.
Marco raises to 900 with ace-5 off. Ed in the big blind with jacks.
See if we're going to get a re-raise out of Ed. I've never been a fan of getting up before hands were done,
Oh, I love
even
watching-
for breaks.
Yeah, I love watching how they play out.
Ed raises to 21.
Nice.
Especially if a big hand like this happens. Ed
Takes
takes
it
it
down
down.
with the
Play
bet.
by Ed.
Ed makes the right play, raises with jacks, and doesn't have to show a thing.
That's the right play there with 2 players behind him.
Absolutely.
You got to protect your hand.
So we will be back here shortly, in about 10 to 15 minutes. And we will hope to not have Paul Moskowitz's beautiful face in the camera when we come back.